What's up, guys? Apex Gamer 2020 here. Welcome to another Microsoft Flight Simulator video. Now, it has been a long time since we've done one of these videos. And in today's video, we are going to be flying to St. Augustine Beach by request of AustonTGameing. So, I like to say that if you guys request a certain location, then that puts you right there in that other seat next to me. So hopefully AustonTGameing, that's riding right there in that seat, we're just going to imagine that he's right there, is going to trust me to take this thing off and fly it and come back and land once we visit his location. So without further delay, we got to get this thing started. We are already on the runway and cleared for takeoff. So we got to go ahead and get this thing some power and get it started and get on the road. Well, in the air. I'm used to playing American Truck Simulator, don't judge me. Okay, we got our avionics on. Let's get this thing started. Alright, I'm going to take the parking brake off. Throttle up, and here we go. Let's get in the air. Keep it straight as we can while we're on the runway. Full throttle. Here we go, up in the air. We get up to about 500 feet or so. We'll go ahead and bring up the landing gear.
JMB Aviation X-Ray Golf Sierra, continue for west departure.
Here we are, 500 feet.
St. Augustine Tower, JMB Aviation Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra, continue for west departure. St. Augustine Tower, JMB Aviation Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf
left
Sierra,
a little bit
800
here
feet
at
to
30
land.
degrees.
JMB Aviation Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra St. Augustine Tower. Altimeter 29.9.
Custom destinations right down that way.
Enter left traffic runway tree 1 JMB Aviation X-Ray Golf Sierra.
That's just telling us to enter our pattern for landing, because this is also our place that we're coming back to once we check out the beach. Our airspeed is currently heading up to 120. We're going to ignore that.
JMB Aviation X-Ray Golf Sierra, wind calm, cleared to land runway tree 1.
Alright, that's our clearance to land. We're not even ready
Cleared
to land yet.
runway tree 1 JMB
That's one thing I actually do hate
X-Ray
about
Golf
this,
Sierra.
is we set the arrival to that same airport back there, and if you just take off and start turning, it wants you to turn around and land.
Runway tree 1 ready for departure IFR to Dallas Love.
And for some reason, it deletes out the custom.
905, hold short runway tree 1.
God dang, this thing won't shut up.
Aviation VL3 on base.
But anyway, it deletes your custom waypoint or marker. But that white dot you see all the way out there, right out there, that's St. Augustine Beach, and this is St. Augustine right here. First time around, we're going to be onto the right side of the beach, which is going to turn out to be over there, and then we're going to come across the water and check it out from the other side on the way back to the airport before we come in for our landing. Well, hopefully, Austin, that when you watch this video, it looks similar to when you were there, when you visited. Not sure how much of this actually looks real to you, because I've never been there, but it is based off of real, things. You can fly anywhere in the world. Like, you could literally find somebody's house if you looked hard enough. So St. Augustine's Beach is going to be right up there with that next white dot. Airspeed is currently at 131. We're in the yellow a little bit. As long as we're not in the red, we're okay. RPMs are doing okay. And when I'm looking at RPMs, I'm looking right there where the white dot is now. That's what I'm looking at for RPMs. We are still at full throttle. Okay, now our RPMs are a little too high, so we got to back off on the throttle a little bit here. Bring those RPMs down so we're not battling with critical RPMs, and they are going to fluctuate. They are getting a little out of control on us. still think that we're okay, even at 5,800 RPMs. We have 48% of our fuel left, which is why we are not going to go very far or stay out very long, because I'm not sure how long that actually lasts at half capacity. When we took off, we had 50. And I believe if you look off to the left here now, I believe that is St. Augustine's Beach. And we're going to take this flight all the way out to the next beach, which is way up there, before we start turning around. But here it is, St. Augustine Beach. We are 1.22 nautical miles away. And our altitude is actually decreasing. We're at 800 feet. And actually, since I started playing this game again, this is only the third flight that I've actually done. Well, fourth. I did one from Elmira Clooney Regional Airport to, I believe, the Kennedy Airport, which was like 170 nautical miles. And I came back from that flight. So that was technically 2 flights there. And then a third test flight for this exact flight right here. And then the fourth time we're doing this flight, or the second time we're doing this flight, I actually decided to film it for Auston upon his request. So that's where we're at with this. It's our fourth flight. We've only had 2 successful landings. We won't discuss what happened with the other landings. And one of those landings was during the training, by the way. When I landed at the Kennedy Airport, I ended up actually having a really lag and glitch problem, and my controls went nuts on me. I had no control over them, so I had to do some editing in the flight assistant settings you see at the top of the screen there, to make sure I get more control over the plane. Alright, we actually do got to get up a little bit higher here, because we are at 260 feet. I wanted to get down low and see the detail, but we really should stay at about 500 feet. Okay, we got to Butler Beach, so this is where we're going to zip around here. We don't want to turn any more than 30 degrees, or we could end up causing the RPMs to skyrocket, and the engine could stall on us. Here's where we're going to get a really great look at Augustine Beach. As we fly by here, then we're going to have to go by and enter our landing pattern. I will tell you, I already did message Auston, and he is not trusting me to land this plane. Let's get a little bit more to the left here so we can take a gander at it. I think over here we're pretty comfortable at 300 feet, 200, 300 feet. But yeah, guys, there it is, St. Augustine's Beach. I'm not sure if that's what it looks like, and they didn't really add any detail as far as like putting people or things on the beach. Some areas that we'll fly to will be much more, oh, that's a little glitch right there, will be more detailed. But we're going to take this to slightly past that pier out there, and then we're going to head out into the main area and enter our landing pattern. Now hopefully, Auston, when you watch this video, you were able to see some familiar, you know what I'm trying to say, something you recognize from your thing. I can't get the word I'm trying to say out. Something familiar to you. Maybe a building, something on the beach, the way the shape of the beach is, or something. Who knows? But yeah, that was it was a quick flight. It was definitely a quick flight. But really, we saw everything there was to see in this flight. There is another one that AustonTGameing did recommend for us, and we will be doing that one in our next flight. So once we get past this, I'm guessing up here or something, well, that's when we'll start heading our left into where we go to land. Our fuel is actually holding out pretty well. We're going to make our 30-degree turn to the left. You can see some vehicles driving down there. Great, great detail. They've got a Lincolnville Historic District up there. RPMs are starting to even out again. Yeah, they can be in the red a little bit, but just keep in mind that if they are in the red, you got to make very slight changes because the engine will begin to stall out on us. Alright, we got 7.35 nautical miles, but we're going to have to do another, like a kind of like a figure 8 to enter our landing pattern. We're pretty comfortable up here at almost 800 feet. Airspeed is comfortable in the 105, climbing to 106 now. RPM's doing alright, but they're in the red. We can push back up on the throttle a little bit. It's going to increase the RPMs, but as long as we're not stalling, I think we're alright. We're at pretty much a cruise speed currently. We're in the perfect spot for the comfortable airspeed. Once we start getting into the yellow, things can get a little risky. Our altitude is going to be a little too high to land right there, though, so when we enter our pattern, we are going to have to decrease altitude. Man, I have really missed doing these videos. I even got the game on sale. Oh, they've got like Silver Lake over there. Just the amount of detail that they actually put in over here in the state of Florida. Alrighty here. So we're gonna have to come back around and re-enter the, well, not re-enter, but enter it for the first time. But we gotta swing wide left because we're gonna have to make our 30-degree turn to the right to be able to enter our pattern, our landing pattern. Right over here, it's even, what is that? Silver Lake. Likes of Silver Lake. There's a lot of, I didn't realize Florida was so much wood, like so woodsy. I guarantee you there's a lot of wildlife down there. Oh, that's an airstrip we can land at. Well, that's not where our pattern is set for. I don't even see a lake down there, so that's very misleading. That looks like an off-road trail right here. I bet you there's crocodiles in that body of water up there. Alright, we got, now we're still increasing our altitude, so we want to cut back on the throttle a bit. We're 4 nautical miles away now. Yeah, there's easily like crocodiles and alligators and God knows what else in these waters. Even in that little pond right there, I bet you anything. Something lives there. Alright, Austin. Moment of truth, man. You trust me to land this thing? I already know I already got my answer earlier. I think he was confident in me to be able to take off, but I don't think he has the confidence in me to actually land. I will say that in this game, landing is actually very challenging. And depending on the plane that you're in. This is one that I kind of understand, but not fully. Like, I understand the majority of the power switches and everything are over here. But I don't know what a lot of this other stuff is. I'm kind of learning planes as I go. I actually spend a lot of time sitting on the ground and not really flying much, just pushing buttons and trying to power up the planes and figuring out where the ignition and all that good stuff is. St. Augustine's Beach, guys. That's where we just visited. And that's how you would open up the canopy right there. You guys can kind of see the giant turn that we're really exaggerating here to make sure we get into our flight landing pattern. We don't have our landing gear down either, but we will put the landing gear down once we get into the pattern entry. Now, the reason that that's red too is because technically we're going way too fast for it. But we'll start slowing our airspeed when we get into the pattern. What is that, a swampland down there? Alright, here we go. We are 1,600 feet in the air. We will have to start decreasing altitude here soon. Now we do have the ATC to auto handle, so hopefully that'll handle all that while I fly this thing. Oh, the other time that I tried to land and crash was when I was trying doing this crap at night. Not a good idea. We are not a night pilot yet. Okay. Now we have to slow down a little bit. We may want to hit our flaps. But we're not going to do that until we get right by the runway. Our runway is going to be right over there. So we're going to put our landing gear down. We're going to start coming back on the throttle a bit. So we can slow our airspeed. Hoping at one point, or at some point, Austin's watching this video, knowing that I'm pretty knowledgeable about this particular flight. And he's like, yeah, no, he's got this. But to be honest, Austin is not the kind of guy to give me the benefit of the doubt. And I can, after a lot of what we've been through in some games, I can understand why he would not trust me to fly this plane or to even land it or anything. We've had a pretty rough path with trusting each other in a video game, especially when it comes to something like PUBG. Man, there's been times Austin's left me for dead in PUBG. I've blown him off of bridges in games. So yeah, I can understand the lack of trust here. Our current airspeed is currently 81 knots. We want to slow that down. We got to get to like 50 something, but I want to do that right about when we get into our turn. We got our landing gear down. We're doing okay in altitude right now, but the further back on the throttle, we'll start to lose altitude. And maybe hold or gain airspeed. 79 knots is honestly not that fast to be able to stop this plane. So even if we come in hot, I think we'll be alright. Okay, we're going to start another 30-degree turn here. We're not going to get as crazy as this flight plan has us going, but that's a lot of more than 30-degree turns. Alright. I can hear the engine bogging down a bit. That's both a good and bad thing, depending on the distance we got to cover here. Worst case scenario, we just have to throttle back up a little bit. Airspeed's increasing. I'm not too super worried about the airspeed right now until we get aligned with the runway. You don't always, I mean, what you see in front of us is like really a guide, but you don't have to follow it to an exact T. We're now down to 710 feet. 600 feet, 71 knots of airspeed. We're a little bit lower than we want to be right now. So I am going to hike us up just a little bit, called a flare up. It's going to slow our airspeed down to right about where we need to be. Alright, we don't always use the flaps when I land, but we can, especially if it slows us down a little bit. Okay, we're going to actually, you know what, we will go ahead and adjust our flaps. It'll help us get down a little bit easier. Alright, and there it is, guys. There's the runway. Hit those flaps. When we get over the water here, we'll probably cut the throttle off completely. Actually, let's go ahead and do that now. Alright, no throttle. That's it. We're just coasting now into our landing. Airspeed is at 66, which is a little bit faster than we need to be, but only by a few miles an hour, or knots an hour. I don't know how that actually gets measured. Here we go, and we have touchdown. We got touchdown.
JMB Aviation X-Ray Golf Sierra exit runway when able.
Alright, we'll come to a stop here and find out what air traffic control wants us to do. Okay, they want us to go up this way. Alright, so we got to kind of pump our brakes a little bit when we taxi off the runway. 15 knots is what they want us at, but I can never seem to keep it there. As long as we stay on the ground, though, we'll be alright. Let's go ahead and back down on the throttle a little bit. Pump the brakes, pump the brakes.
JMB Aviation X-Ray Golf Sierra exit runway when able.
Okay, we want to slow down a little bit, so let's come back on the throttle. Really pump those brakes to come to a slow down. We got 42% of our fuel, so we actually had plenty of gas to do that flight. Okay, let's get around this corner. We don't want to go too fast. It's all about feathering the
JMB Aviation X-Ray Golf Sierra contact ground on 121.175.
Okay,
121.175 JMB Aviation X-Ray Golf Sierra. Goodbye.
Okay, so ATC wants us to tune and request taxi clearance. ATC radio ground. Is it this one? Oh, here we go. Request taxi to parking.
St. Augustine ground, JMB Aviation Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra request taxi to parking.
JMB Aviation Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway cross runway 24 Bravo Foxtrot cross runway 24 Foxtrot cross runway 2 Foxtrot.
Alright guys, we just got to continue to follow this.
Taxiing to general aviation parking via taxiway cross runway 24 Bravo Foxtrot cross runway 24 Foxtrot cross runway 2 Foxtrot JMB Aviation X-Ray Golf Sierra.
And we are clear to continue our taxiing. You know, honestly, in a video, I do believe that is our first ever successful landing on a Microsoft Flight Simulator video. I don't remember if we landed when we did the Niagara Falls video. And that was years ago, actually. I think that was like 3 years ago we did that. So I'm really glad to be back to getting in the air and doing some flying around for you guys. I don't remember the second location that AustonTGameing actually requested, but I'm hoping now that after he watches this video that he now trusts me to fly a plane and get us on the ground safely. We will try a different plane the next time around. We got a taxi all the way over there to ramp 56. That's going to be our ending spot. Okay, we got our airspeed up a little too fast here. No, that's actually, I think we're doing all right. Ooh, see, that's what I'm talking about going a little too fast. Sometimes you just got to come to a stop and restart because you get going a little too fast. It's called pull back on that throttle just a little bit more. We got to have some throttle so we can keep moving. We've already been cleared right to our parking spot. Let's pump those brakes. Our square's sitting right over there for us. Really hoping you enjoyed this flight, Austin. Alrighty, guys. We can come out of here and take a look at our plane for the first time as we do a U-turn to get in our square. Yeah, close enough. Okay, go set our parking brake. Make sure our throttle's all the way off. Alright, now we're going to shut down the engine. And that is it, guys. That is going to do it for this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.